All good. This is probably, yeah, all good. This is probably where I'd sit for most of the afternoon, but this is like probably around normal levels. Maybe probably a little bit louder, I think, but yeah, all good. Yes, yes. I will try not to jump. Good afternoon and welcome to Lambert Park in the heart of Sydney's inner west for a picture-perfect night of football. APIA continue their return to their spiritual home in hopes of righting the wrongs of a couple of weeks ago. Meanwhile, St George come here in search of an elusive away win to stay out of the relegation scrap. Two teams that want the ball at their feet and they love to press and play positive football. Should be a good game for the neutral and we can't wait to bring it to you live on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. Will Constantinides along for you this afternoon up here in the Lambert Park commentary position. And this game has plenty to offer for both sides, really. In need of the 3 points for different reasons, as mentioned. St George 4 points away from Sydney FC in 15th. Meanwhile, APIA still some way back behind Rockdale. Real need to keep in touch if they're to defend their premiership. And without any further delay, let's get straight into the team news for you. Starting with the host, APIA Leichhardt. It's been 2 weeks since they were in action. They lost 4-1 to Marconi and had their derby date with Sydney Olympic at Jubilee Stadium washed out last week. So this is their chance to get right and get revenge for that loss and get back to where they feel they belong, which is in the winner's circle. Speaking to Franco Parisi pre-match, he spoke highly about the opponents today. He has plenty of respect for them and the way they play and knows that it won't be easy here despite the fact that they are at home and they do have a good home record. As for St George and Jane Talchevsky's side, well, they picked up an important away point 0-0 draw to Sydney United 58, which is not an easy place to go, especially when you look at the form that Sydney United have been in as of late. But they'll hope that that's the building blocks they need away from home to go on a bit of run of form, really, and put a bit of distance between themselves and the bottom two. At the time of coming into this game, they're 4 points above Sydney FC, so things could get hairy if they don't keep picking up points, and it's been a while since they picked up a win. So a chance to really do some damage here away from home. And they'll take confidence in that 2-2 draw they picked up against APIA. And so the team news for the both of these two teams, we'll take a look at APIA Leichhardt. 3 changes to that side against Marconi with Jordan Segredo, Michael Kuda, Dakota Askew, or 4 changes, actually, Saya Kambiashi, all out of the starting lineup. Jack Stewart, Luigi DeTroya, Nick Azone and Rory Jordan all start in their place. As for the rest of the starting 11 for APIA, it goes like this. Number 1 is Anthony Buzanis. Number 4, Josh Simmons. Number 14, Jack Armson. Number 16, Sean Simmons. Number 18 in midfield, their captain, Adrian Uccino. Number 22, Edward Caspers. Number 7, Jack Stewart. Number 19, Luigi DeTroya. Number 41, Nick Azone. And one of the new inclusions, and certainly a man to watch, is number 11, Rory Jordan. For St George, Jane Talchevsky keeps the same lineup that drew away to Sydney United -1, which is the inclusion of Jaden Casella. And keen-eyed viewers of this competition would know that Casella was at Sydney Olympic quite recently, so a mid-season transfer there by Jano Talchevsky and St. George in hopes of securing their safety in this competition. Aside from that, the starting 11 is this. Number 2, Kaio Jagodoy. Number 5, Nicholas Calagero, who scored against APIA back in their earlier game this season. Number 6 is Pat O'Shea. Number 8 is Connor Quilligan. Number 9, Peter Grozos. Number 10, Harry Jones. Number 18, Mark Rodich. Number 20 in goal, Daniel Axford. Number 23, Evangelos Souris. 27 is Jaden Cito. And the new man to watch, number 33, Jaden Casella. And just about ready to get proceedings underway. I think there's been a bit of an issue with the net behind Daniel Axford, away to the left side of our commentary position, which has delayed start momentarily. And so for APIA, this is certainly a good opportunity from their perspective. Also noting that Ben Gibson is not out there for APIA as well. Another one of the changes I forgot to mention. So it's been a real shift for Franco Parisi and APIA Leichhardt, and that's having no Ben Gibson certainly hurts them. He's the top scorer and he's scored a bucket load of goals. So they'll have to find another way to do it, but there's plenty of weapons out there. Also gives a chance for Detroit and Azone to start, the youngsters. As St. George get us underway. Guatemala winning that header, but bit of a foul in back play. And St. George will love to keep the ball. It's the way they play, and so when you have two sides that love to hold possession, should make for an exciting game, as mentioned, for the neutral, as Quilligan wins the ball in a good area, and Casella, first touches for him for St. George, but he's going to have a tough night against Temba Muatamalo, one of the more sturdy central defenders in this competition. It'll be interesting to see with APIA if there's a bit of a rust factor in their performance. Not playing for 2 weeks can certainly throw off your rhythm when you're used to the weekly intensity of the NPL New South Wales men's competition. It's certainly would have disrupted them, and with that in mind, they'll have a bit of fixture congestion coming up. Not just that catch-up game against the Olympic, but in August they'll have the Australia Cup round of 32. So a bit of squad rotation perhaps in mind with Detroit and Azone, the two inclusions that are particularly of note, as a bit too strong in midfield there was Quilligan up top, I believe, as Jordan, looking through the centre of the park, had ideas of finding Detroit. And Detroit got on the score sheet against Marconi a couple of weeks ago, so it's not just a fact of squad rotation really for Franco Parisi. He's rewarded the man for getting on the score sheet, as Motamalo steps in to take it away from Casella. Caspers and Uchino exchange passes, and Caspers has the awareness to swing it wide to Jack Stewart. Stewart drifts inwards. Armson asking a lot of Rory Jordan, and he won't quite get there. Will the speedy and nimble APIA left winger? And that front three of Jordan, Detroit, and Jack Stewart out there for APIA. It's pushed. Seen Sean Simmons play in the front three. He's in the back four this afternoon, alongside his brother Josh. Left back and left central back, respectively, as here is Sean Simmons. Plays it along the line to Jordan. And Josh Simmons looking to unleash Caspers, but it's dealt with at the first time of asking by Mark Rodich. Souris sends it wide, looking for Casella, who's out on that left wing in that 33 jersey, so attack comes to an end for APIA. And that loss to Marconi a couple of weeks ago was actually their first home loss of the season, so they've been very good at both Lambert and Leichhardt. Was played first half of the season at Leichhardt Oval, where they won all their games. It's very hard to come to the Inner West, to come to Leichhardt and take a point off last season's premiers. Marconi were able to do it a couple of weeks ago, and St. George will be hoping that they can really take a big scalp this afternoon. Josh Simmons looking forward to Troy. He did find him. That's good hold-up play as Jordan switches it out. Does eventually make its way to Stewart via Cito. Armson looking forward to Troy around the corner, but Axford is quick off his line to sweep the defence and takes that into his grateful arms. Certainly see the intent of APIA already. Coming out with plenty of attacking flavour and trying to get on the board early. That was really the difficulty against Marconi, was converting their chances. Stewart and Uchino. Uchino felt he was fouled. The referee disagreed. Stays with St. George instead. Here's Grozos. Overlapping is Caligeru. Uses Grozos again. Continue to recycle possession. Grozos picks it up and turned, but Armstead had picked his pocket, and there's a bit of shirt grabbing each way, but it stays with APIA, and no advantage accruing means they'll take the quick free kick and restart again. Stewart looking to release Detroyer, but was a bit too close to Kaio de Godoy. Up goes Muatamalo. He's always good in the air as APIA will start again. Jordan. Thompson got it taken away from him at the final moment, and it's just those final passes for APIA that are missing right now. They've been more or less camped inside St. George's half. Chance will certainly be coming their way, you'd think, if pattern of play stays like this. And St. George look to build. Degodo has spotted Caligeru with a beautiful 40-yard pass, and St. George can turn APIA around and get going forward here. Quilligan is unceremoniously hacked down by Uchino, but Armson and Uchino are pleading their case to the official that he got enough of the ball. Good opportunity from the set piece here for St. George. They don't look intent on just lumping it in. They'll prefer to work it around. And so they'll take their time standing over it. It's Harry Jones, who's been tasked with whipping this one in as they eventually make their presence felt in the box, and there's a bit of housekeeping for the officials to do here. APIA looking to get their line just right. Anthony Bizanis barking out instructions to his defenders as in comes the ball. Degodo is back there at the back stick, and Uchino says anywhere will do and clears it away from danger. St. George continue to pile on pressure, but it will be an APIA throw. And speaking to both managers before the game, they both had a lot of respect for each other and the way they like to play. Yana Talchevsky spoke highly of the reigning premiers and knows it won't be easy for his side and they'll be up against it. Meanwhile, Franco Parisi said that for them, they can't take anything for granted, and they know that St. George will press them high as here they are. They've just won the ball in a good area. Forced back a little bit, but it'll stay with them for the time being. Here's Grozos, has Caligeru overlapping, and that's where he goes. Caligeru driven cross in, but it can't beat Eddie Caspers there. Detroyer, stand up defending there by Mark Rodich, and an incisive pass forward to Quilligan, and that means St. George can continue the attack, and keep pressing down the front foot. Peter Grozos. Evangelosouris. Cito, who's made his way forward now with Casella. This is a philosophy of St. George, keeping the ball after winning it high up the pitch just a moment ago. Quilligan, smart lead for Caligiero, and he can drive into the space. Cross, can't beat Simmons. Gives it back to Quilligan, who looks back post for Casella. Got a head on it, but couldn't direct it goalwards as Souris. Lovely skill to get around the corner. And there's Guatemala again putting an end to that attack, but it will stay with St. George for a corner. And that's a bright start by the visitors, a flash at what they can do in the final third. And they'll have a chance to try and work something here with the first corner of the afternoon down on that far side towards the light rail end of the ground. St. George, what can they do from the set piece, from the corner? In it comes towards Quilligan. It's come back out here. Souris lines up the shot. Taken away by Uchino, and good defending by Simmons. As Caspers. Couldn't get away from Rodic. Make no mistake, despite the discrepancy in ladder position, this will not be easy for APIA, as we've had the first ball and what will likely not be the last of the afternoon onto the roof. And looks like it hasn't gone on to Marion Street behind us, which will be much to the delight of head of grounds and operations, Serge Bucciarelli, who's usually tasked with retrieving some of those balls at Lambert Park that go wayward. Uchino had his head up and spotted Jordan, but the pass didn't find him. Instead it found Caligiero. Now it's APIA's turn to try and press. They forced the long ball, and Casella's there, wins the header, but comes to an end as Harry Jones knew he was offside after that flick on from Jaden Casella. He got right up there, did Casella. Not the tallest winger, but he made up for it with a lovely vertical leap. Here's Jordan. Josh Simmons. Uchino. Shifts it wide, and this is where they can move forward. Azone. Detroit wanted it over the top, and Azone thought he was checking in, and means St. George can march their way up the pitch once more. Caligiero. Quilligan. They'll move it around the back, and both teams will feel that if they can get their foot on the ball and really control possession, that'll be the first step in getting the key to the game. It's not a case that both these sides love to sit back and counter. They'll want it worked around the box and fashioning good opportunities instead of relying on something more direct. Caspers finds Detroyer. Drops it to Uchino, and again it's a crossfield pass. Azone. Stewart tries to turn the corner on Cito, but couldn't find the passage through. Again, it's APIA with the ball to feet. We saw this just a moment ago from St. George. Controlled possession along the halfway line. Now it's APIA's turn to do the same. Ambitious pass from Simmons does find Jordan, and here's Sean Simmons. Sean Simmons, back post. Cleared away by Cito. It wasn't the most convincing clearance, and that means that it's now with Adrian Uchino on the edge of the area. Armson moving it wide for Stewart. This is where he can be so dangerous one-on-one. Cries of handball from APIA, but they won't be heeded, and now maybe a bit of a counter-attack here for St. George as Quilligan and Casella combine up top. And they do well to put an end to that attack, but it now means that St. George have numbers in midfield. Pat O'Shea looking to drive it forward with Quilligan, but it's given away, and now Stewart. He might be able to get on the end of that, but it's far too close to Daniel Axford, and this has been a frantic and fast start to proceedings here at Lambert Park. Both sides playing a very fast attacking brand of football as expected. It's made for great viewing already in the opening 15 minutes. No major chances really, but what has been a cagey affair, you think sooner rather than later, as they're just feeling them out at the moment. Just the two sides seeing how they react to different patterns of play. Here is Rory Jordan. Sean Simmons skips through Uchino to Guatemala. Azone, he can drive forward as he bombs on from that right back position. Good touch by Stewart. Plays in Detroit, goes along the byline and might have overcooked that half cross, half shot, but bit of a warning shot fired there by APIA Leichhardt that they can get forward, and it's no surprise. It's their two wingers, Rory Jordan and Jack Stewart. That's where they're looking. Both would have extremely fresh legs after not starting against Marconi 2 weeks ago, so it's been some time since they started the game. Risky work by Cito, and he's conceded the throw in here. Jordan. Touch takes him away from the defender. Didn't see anything he liked ahead of him. It's more patient build-up play coming from APIA. Uchino looking for that killer pass through to Armstrong, who gives him the thumbs up in recognition of what was a good idea. And they're well set defensively. Both these two sides, they're extremely well drilled. And for APIA, who are some way behind Rockdale coming into this round, they were 10 points off first. They sit in third. They have 2 games in hand, though, on Rockdale, so if they can win some of these catch-up games, they can cut that deficit down to 4. And then they have Marconi ahead of them, who are 4 points ahead. They also have that game in hand as well, so a win today is crucial in terms of their aspirations to go back-to-back and defend their premiership. Still relatively safe inside the top 4, on top 6 rather. It's not a concern just yet, but if they don't pick up points, it might be, as Detroit goes his way to the back post, but too easy there for Axford in goal. Here's Josh Simmons. Caspers uses Azone. Guatemala. Now that press is coming after. You have to be careful, and that's lovely work by Josh Simmons to avoid Peter Grozos. And Detroit has drifted wide here, has the striker. There's Kai de Godoy ahead of him. Forces him inside. Here's Eddie Caspers. Swinging it from right to left. Now with Jordan. Cutting inside on his right and curling it. Great save by Axford. But it's only as far as the Troyer, who lashed it at goal and forced a great save out of Daniel Axford. And the first chance of the way goes the way of the hosts. And it forces a superb double save by the St. George Gloveman, Daniel Axford, who was good at the first time of asking to deny Rory Jordan and had to be alert on that second shot. Now APIA have the corner. We saw St. George have one a few minutes ago, which didn't come to all that much, as Armstrong puts the ball in. Guatemala is back there and rattles the crossbar. And might have been a push in the back that he benefited from, which helped him get on the end of that header. But that's certainly more of what Franco Parisi would have ordered. When I spoke to him before the game, as mentioned, he was very highly spoken about his opponents, but he said that the side has been itching to play after 2 weeks losing in the Derby d'Italia to Marconi. Felt that they missed an opportunity against Olympic to not just win another derby, a different kind of derby, but also when you lose, you want to get back immediately and win straight away. Wants his side to convert their chances in this game. That's what he felt was a difference maker against Marconi, that they had their chances but couldn't put them away, and goals either side of half-time, he felt really sunk them, and they ultimately paid the price for just not being clinical enough. And that's a great ball forward. Caspers will chase and does win it here. Detroyer. Azone. Jack Stewart. Cutting inside, searching for something in support, looking to reverse that pass forward, but it was well read by Kaio de Godoy, who takes it himself and takes matters into his own hands, does the defender. Can get past Caspers. We'll have Watamalo ahead of him, and Watamalo calmly sees it over the sideline. That's some good work there by the St. George defender, the number 2. And we're just under 20 minutes gone here at Lambert Park. It's those 2 saves by Daniel Axford, the only real chance of the game so far. I have to think Franco Parisi was talking about in terms of his side being clinical will be even more important in this game. Only getting a couple of chances in 20 minutes. It's going to be by a tight margin that his side will try and need to work something into the back of the net. Here's Quilligan. Calogero is making that overlapping run, not for the first time this evening. Tried to get the vital touch to it, but couldn't. And now Simmons can race away down the wing. Rory Jordan. Uchino. Again, it's that switch of play from APIA, looking to really move this St. George defence around. Armson. Quick pass forward, and Stewart, as they play the triangles, just ran out of room along that far side in front of the Joe Marston Pavilion. Aerial ping pong, St. George do get it forward, but there's Sean Simmons again to deny Peter Grozos chance of going one-on-one with Bazanis. Zone again trying to feed through Detroit. You can see they want to turn the St. George defence around as quickly as possible when they do get forward before they get set into their defensive shape. So here's Stewart. Tries the shot himself. And that is a beauty by Jack Stewart. That's why he was brought back into the side, to score bangers like that. It seemingly came from nothing. He got it onto his left foot and let it fly, and it fell straight into the top corner from the APIA number 7. What a goal by Jack Stewart. We spoke about how they wanted to catch St. George out before they got their defence set, and Jack Stewart was really the only man in the final third for APIA. Didn't have much in the way of support, and Daniel Axford was not getting to that one as Jack Stewart brings up his 10th goal of the season in all competitions. He hits the double-digit mark, and what a way to bring it up. Great work at the back by Zone, and APIA have that goal. And Franco Parisi, we said that his side, well, he wanted his side to be clinical. It does not get much more clinical than that from Jack Stewart. His first shot of the game, and he belts it into the back of the net. APIA take the lead that they'll feel they've deserved. It's been a game that's been tight and hotly contested in midfield. They've had the slightly better chances as they try and get a second here. And St. George will want to avoid this one getting to 2-0 before too long. certainly one that those in the Joe Marston Pavilion would have loved. They would have had a perfect angle on that side, seeing that ball fly in from Jack Stewart. And when he joined last season from Mount Druitt, he was arguably one of the best, if not best players in this team that drove them forward to the premiership. His goal tally's dried up a little bit this season, but his quality never goes away as APIA look to get forward, and Detroit, Armson rather, had drifted offside, just catching himself behind the defensive line. Casella, good hold-up players. Quilligan looks to feed it forward. Deflection from APIA. St. George wanted the handball. Instead, it's Stewart getting down the wing. Quick passes in the middle between Quilligan and Jones. And now, Peter Grozos. Again, St. George finding it hard to get past APIA right now. And more Route 1 stuff from APIA. That's good physicality by Kyle DeGordo, just shrugging off Luigi DeTroya. And St. George will work it around the back with Calageru. Quilligan. This time a bit more Route 1, but it's far too close for Anthony Buzanis as Harry Jones was running through. Looks like Casella and Peter Grozos have switched wings, so Casella's now in front of us on the right side. Grozos over on the other end on the left. Simmons brings it under his control. Uchino. Armson was the intended target of that pass from Rory Jordan as, again, they just get their wires crossed there. APIA Leichhardt in midfield, and Guatemala, that is solid work at the back, just rising through the pack. APIA won't press on this occasion. They'll let St. George have it. Good defending there by Rory Jordan to cut out the pass, deny Casella. Right in front of us here. Lambert Park backing onto Marion Street. Calageru beats Detroit to it. Don't think Detroit was expecting the ball to come his way. Now it's a scrap for it in midfield. And that time, Luigi Detroit has a bit more concrete attempt at the ball. Sends it out for a throw, but APIA's front three are circling, really. And Armson's joining the press as well from midfield. And that time, a bit of pressure means St. George turn it over. Uchino looking between the lines for Stewart. Doesn't come to the target that he wanted. And still with APIA, who have had the lion's share of possession in this game, it must be said. No doubt be wary of the threat that St. George pose on the other end as they try and get forward here. I'm not sure there was too much in it from Souris in terms of malicious intent, but did catch Uchino late as he was trying to win the 50-50. It's been a great start to proceedings here at Lambert Park as Stewart looks to turn provider this time. Detroit was just half a step behind the cross, but APIA keep possession once more. Simmons does link up and receives the pass that he made forward. Stewart, again, familiar position to where he scored. That one takes a deflection. And on that occasion, Axford gets two hands to it for safety as his defenders helped him out to deny Stewart an early brace in this game. And what would have been his 11th goal in all competitions. Casella. Given away by St. George. Again, that's that APIA press coming to great effect as Caspers keeps the ball moving with Armson. And just over 15 minutes remaining, and it's APIA who are in the driver's seat, as you'd expect, at home, in better form than their opponents. And asking a lot of Sean Simmons there to bring it under his control. He almost did so. Casper's in a battle with Souris to get there. Souris beats him to it. St. George, who have been camped inside their own half for the last 5-10 minutes, now have a chance to build some possession of their own. Peter Grozos is forced backwards by Azone. Physical contest out there on the far side. APIA doing everything they can to deny St. George progress. Detroit has pass red. As in goes Guatemala, didn't get the ball, and that might leave APIA with less numbers at the back as Casella couldn't get it behind for Jones. And now APIA, a chance of their own as Armson thought he was tripped, but plays it forward to Detroit. Advantage played. And a beautiful finish by Luigi Detroit. Jack Armson did the hard work going forward, stayed on his feet, and was rewarded for it. APIA get their second, and it's what they've deserved for all their pressure, as Detroit makes it goals in back-to-back weeks after scoring a consolation against Marconi. But after being rewarded with a start for scoring, he repays the faith that Parisi has shown in him by picking up his side's second of the game. And that was a true striker's finish from Luigi Detroit. One-on-one with the keeper, put it straight into the bottom right corner, into the side netting. We had a fantastic view of it up here in our commentary position, and APIA have certainly been fired up by their loss to Marconi. And if there was any thoughts that they might cool off with that 2-week break, I think those doubts can be put to bed with how they've started this game. And what has really only been there, by my count, 4th shot on target. And from 4 shots on target, they have 2 goals, and they have to be careful here as Quilligan could go one-on-one with Bazanis. And that has to be a goal-saving challenge by Temba Guatemala. Seemingly came from nowhere with Quilligan bearing down one-on-one with Bazanis. And he slid in to save the day and keep it at 2-0 for his side. And that's really signified what this performance has been about for APIA. Yes, they've been good up front, and yes, they've been good in midfield in terms of keeping the ball, but their defence has been extremely solid, anchored by Josh Simmons and Temba Guatemala. That pass wasn't to his quality. Casella now going forward is swamped by maroon shirts. Ball forward for Stewart. It'll be hard for him to chase. It's too close to Axford, and he's forced to clear it away. This is certainly the type of performance that APIA would have wanted. Of course, back in round 7 against St. George, they found themselves 2-0 down and had to come back from 2-0 to pick up that 2-all draw. It was a 95th minute equaliser from Sullivan that saved the day. As for now, Casella is in a battle with Sean Simmons and pleads his innocence. And it's been a frustrating half, or frustrating last 10-15 minutes really for St. George. They started so brightly in terms of keeping the ball, but APIA have found their groove in this game as it's gone on, and with 33 minutes played here at Lambert Park, they've got their foot on the ball there, ahead on the score sheet and playing with plenty of confidence, it must be said. Here's Caspers. Jordan. Uchino. Guatemala. Along it goes to Azone. Detroit has checked in short to receive the ball, takes on a couple of defenders. Here it is with Jack Stewart, and shot was a little bit tame. But still, APIA continue to turn the screw and really apply plenty of pressure to St. George. Again, it's given away. APIA relentless in their press right now. Sean Simmons. He can get forward even as a left back. As Uchino switches the point of the attack out to Azone. Him and Jack Stewart have combined to great effect out on that right wing. They've looked very dangerous, and more often than not, when they've gone down that right side with Stewart and Azone, it's paid dividends and they've gotten good attacks. Simmons whipping the ball in, and Armson was offside, got a foot to it, but couldn't direct it goalwards. And so St. George will want to make sure the deficit doesn't grow to 3 before halftime. You'd have to think it would be a very large mountain to climb in the second half for Jana Talchevsky's side if they were to be 3-0 down at the break. But with the way APIA are attacking right now, it's not too unlikely of an outcome. And keep it at 2 if they can get a quick one either before the halftime break or on the other side of it. They'd fancy their chances with the extra momentum. As Simmons' pass is cut out by De Godoy, who has to be careful he doesn't play with it at the back. As Detroit is pressing. Jones has Matamalo on his back. Uses Quilligan. Suris and APIA are trying to box them into this corner here, but they find their way out. Quilligan. Pat O'Shea finds Quilligan between the lines, and this is much better from St. George. But there is Rory Jordan, who was covering for Sean Simmons, who made his way forward, and good communication between the two left-sided players. Quilligan looking to use Jones, had it taken off his toe by Matamalo. And now Caspers looks ahead of him and finds the pass to Armson. Pass is too close to Cito. Caligeru using Quilligan, and Matamalo's followed him all the way. And Matamalo felt that he was fouled, but it's certainly been an interesting contest between him and Quilligan, two men that are large in stature, very physical up top. So far, Matamalo's probably got the better of him. Armson using Casper as a chance for him to get forward. He usually sits a bit deeper, looking to link up with Detroyer. Good block by Casper. The referee said his hand was by his side, and here is Jordan, slaloming his way between a couple of defenders and finding Jack Stewart on the byline, who cuts it back for Armson. And that is a beautiful team goal by APIA. Just how they drew it up. It started with Jordan, who found Stewart along the byline. And then a lovely cutback. He floated it up, and it was just begging for Jack Armson to nod it into the back of the net. And he kindly obliged for APIA's third of the afternoon. And of all the goals they've scored, Jack Stewart's first, which was a beautiful individual goal. The second, which was some nice link-up play between Armson and Detroyer. And now Jack Armson, who was the provider for the second goal, now gets on the score sheet. And in terms of the goal that they'll show back when they review the footage during the week, Franco Parisi and his coaching staff, that'll have to be the one. It's a sublime team goal by the hosts, and well, the lead stands at 3-0. And he complains that he might have had last week that his side weren't clinical enough, and they left chances and left goals out on the pitch. They've certainly come back and listened to their head coach, and they're doing it to great effect. And that's for St. George. This game certainly going to need a bit of a miracle to come back from 3-0 the way APIA are playing. So try to turn around Azone, who has the pace along the ground to use Bazanis. Armson brings it onto his chest. APIA will certainly want to make a bit of a statement here, and they've done that with 3 goals already, as they might be looking for more. As Simmons using Rory Jordan, who cuts inside, returns it to Simmons, and smart save by accident at the front post, and cutback almost found its way to Stewart. Headed away momentarily and away from danger by St. George, but it's still with APIA as they continue to lead this attacking onslaught on St. George's goal. And that one breaks down, so attack comes to an end for APIA, but whilst it's standing at 3-0 now, you can tell they're in the hunt for more. They've run up some big scores this season of APIA, though. Biggest one really was that 7-1 win against Sydney FC. Some time ago now, but shows that they can be clinical. And bear in mind, they're doing this without Ben Gibson. Man who's the leading scorer with 20 goals in all competitions. Here's Jordan looking for Muatamalo, and Quilligan's got the height to win almost anything in the air. Josh Simmons. Jones is a one-man forward in the press, and APIA continue to knock it side to side. That time Grozos almost pinched it off them. Armson, lovely touches, and it's a 4v3 here for APIA. They've got the numbers in attack. Stewart looking for that pass to Rory Jordan, but again, Axford's there to sweep his line, and for a moment, APIA outnumbered St. George in attack. Calgeru goes long in search of Casella, who has the Simmons brothers for company. And that time Josh Simmons sends it over the sideline. Calgeru tried the skills on Uchino, who's a bit too experienced for that. The APIA captain, as DeGotto has found Quilligan between the lines. Souris tries to get forward here. And again, there is Temba Muatamalo standing in his way. Just a couple of minutes of time remaining. We shouldn't have too much time added on. Hasn't been too many stoppages, if any. Chance for St. George to strike back with Casella. And he picked his spot at the left corner, but didn't have the required power to get past Bazanis. But a bit of signs of positivity in this St. George attack, that they hope that they can go forward and put a bit of a dent in this 3-0 lead. Maybe St. George ball. So they look to play quick. Simmons. Driving forward. Here is Detroit in the hunt for a brace maybe. Instead it's out towards Ozone, who's overlapped. Stewart cuts left and cuts right. And wasn't far away from his second, Jack Stewart. And not sure if our effects mic picked it up, but St. George defenders were shouting left foot as Jack Stewart had the ball, and he might have picked that up, did a nice little fake shot with his left foot to bring it onto his right, and almost made them pay. He's into the final minute of regulation now at Lambert Park. Uchino. Here is Jordan. The shimmy left and right. Rory Jordan. And just too many defenders in his way for him to get a shot on goal. And now Casella has gotten in behind Sean Simmons here. A good ball forward by Rodic at the back. And Casella. Simmons enjoying a nice friendly battle. Nothing in it really between them. It'll be APIA ball as we tick into relegation, or regulation rather. Out of regulation time into stoppage time here at Lambert Park. APIA try to work their way out of the corner, and they've spotted the switch out to Ozone. He can take it forward, sees Detroit checking in short, who puts that first time ball curling in and will stay in for Stewart. Maybe last chance of the half here for APIA. Stewart has Armson on the edge of the area, who tries the shot himself, and that deflects out for an APIA corner. APIA to do more damage before the break. It's driven in towards Muatamalo. We saw him got on the end of one earlier in the game, but that's the final action of the half, and what a half it's been by the reigning premiers, APIA Leichhardt. Convincing 3-0 lead at the break, and they've looked good value for it. Started with Jack Stewart's screamer from the edge of the area. Then it was Detroit, and then Armson, who added the finishing touches for their 3-0 lead. So, great half from an APIA perspective. And it'll be a tough one for St. George to come back from. It's been Will Constantinides on the call with you for the first half. We'll see you back soon on the other side of this break. Welcome back to the second half of football here at Lambert Park. It's APIA firmly in the driver's seat with that 3-0 cushion. And some way back for the visitors, St. George, to try and get back into this game. But still 45 minutes of football to be played, so do not consider this a done deal just yet for APIA. But they'll like the position that they're in. So get started once more. Andrew and Uchino receiving it, and APIA go once again. We'll keep an eye on any substitutions for you. For now, though, APIA, for the very least, look like they've come out as they've started. Cursory glance at St. George. They look about the same as well. Caspers. Zone and Uchino. This is much of what APIA did in the first half. Here is Stewart, the man who got things started for APIA. Now looking to turn provider, and Detroit was certainly offside as he got behind the APIA defence. So I might just take this moment to maybe take a quick look at scores around the grounds. For a moment though, as APIA looks to go forward, Armstrong deflecting that one towards Jordan. Here's Sean Simmons, who got forward on a number of occasions in the first half, looking to do so again in the second. And that time he's a bit too eager and fouls his man. And so Sydney United and Sutherland has finished 1-0 in favour of Sydney United. So that's a good point away down in the Shire for Sydney United, which will mean that even if St. George do lose this game, that they'll still be relatively at a safe place in terms of the relegation battle. They'll still be 4 points above Sydney FC and Sutherland, who are in 15th and 14th respectively. And meanwhile, between Central Coast and Northwest Sydney Spirit, Central Coast are up 1-0. Spirit are down a man as well with 13 minutes to play. As Grozos stays on side. St. George can get an early one here. They'll have all the momentum. Still Grozos. And well blocked by Sean Simmons to stop that attack. And meanwhile, between Sydney Olympic and APIA, Olympic are up 2-1 at home. 15 minutes to play. Reminder, we've still got that 7 p.m. kickoff to come later tonight between Blacktown and St. George City. That'll be a good one, no doubt. Meanwhile, between Western Sydney and Wollongong, the early kickoff, that one finished 2-0 in favour of Wollongong. So, a set of results that help St. George, with Sutherland and Sydney FC both losing. For now, they'll have to worry about this attack as Jordan looks to sweep that ball out towards Stewart. Zone giving chase with Casella on his back. They look to play it out from the back, and they do extremely well there. Zone and Josh Simmons, with Matamale pitching in to give a helping hand. Here is Stewart going one-on-one. Similar position to where he scored his goal. Driving in centrally as Detroit's touch just got away from him at the vital moment. Quilligan looking to use Casella, who's the only man forward for St. George, who have to do it all on his own from here. The new recruit for Jane Talchevsky. Quilligan keeps it going with Grozos. Lines up a shot, but that's high and it's wide. And they won't trouble Anthony Bazanis. APIA have to be careful playing out from the back here. Ooh, they've given away, and a great chance here for St. George. And what a goal line clearance that is from Sean Simmons to deny St. George what would have been a certain goal. And he got back to save his keeper and save the day and keep this at 3-0 for APIA. And APIA, this game is to stay like it is, or maybe the scoreline changes in favour of St. George. They'll no doubt have that man to thank, Sean Simmons. A beautiful goal line clearance. Just taking a look back on the replay, it was a golden opportunity and he slid in. It's not like he was camped on the line. He had to get back and reach out towards it. Foul from Armstrong. Bit of physicality between the two sides. Casella has a zone A ahead of him, and it's been hard work in his debut for St. George. And APIA have numbers momentarily as the ball just got away from Detroit, but he's won it back here. And he's just run out of room, which means it will be the St. George goal kick. Maybe just a chance to run you through both benches here with some potential subs on the way for both outfits. It's Jordan Segredo, Michael Cooter, Dakota Askew, Nick Sullivan, Alex Parks, the backup goalkeeper, and Alex Denmead all on the bench for APIA. So that's certainly highlights the depth that they have with some big names and some usual starters out there on the bench for Franco Parisi. As that ball goes out, we'll give this moment a chance to look at Jan Talchevsky's bench. He has Jesse Spang, Anthony Morabito, Thomas Brown, Aidan O'Shea, Yakov Malbassa, who also a bit of a mid-season signing from Marconi, and Mackenzie Cyron as well. So we'll see who goes to the bench first. For now, though, St. George are on the attack with Kaio de Godoy, who's brought down by Muatamalo, and he goes into the book. This afternoon, Temba Muatamalo, he's had a solid game at the back, must be said, particularly in the air. That's where he's been exceptional. And so with just over 7 minutes played, still plenty of time for St. George to get back into this game if they can make some inroads on this deficit sooner rather than later. It's Harry Jones who stood over this free kick. Chance to cross or shoot. He goes with the cross towards the back post. De Godoy is there. Stewart heads it clear. And cries of handball from St. George. Instead it becomes a high foot against them. APIA will continue to keep it moving. I think a fourth goal would basically bury this game from their perspective. As Jordan knew he was offside, didn't want to get involved. He's had a good game upon his return to the starting lineup, Rory Jordan. Hasn't got on the score sheet, but he's been involved in just about everything APIA have done, and he was instrumental in that third goal, where he played in Jack Stewart, who got to the byline for the assist for that Armstrong header. And Detroit has drifted offside again. St. George looking to build from the back, and there is Muatamalo covering his defenders, and it'll be interesting to see how long Muatamalo stays out there. He's on a yellow card. He still has the best part of really 35 minutes or so in this game to avoid further sanction. Looks like his team are doing just fine as Detroit tries to get behind. And again, Luigi Detroit, the man who scored Apia's second goal, is caught offside. How can St. George get back into this game? It's a long road ahead. And it won't be easy as that APIA press coming to fruition once more. Caspers shifts it wide for Rory Jordan. A chance for him to get on the score sheet. Palmed away by Axford and then cleared, but only as far. There's Detroit who lashed it wide, and it took a deflection on the way through. And he made great contact with it again, Luigi Detroit. We saw him do something similar in the first half, which forced a save out of Axford. That time, that shot had a deflection put on it, which took it wide. As we take a look at the stream just momentarily, it was Rory Jordan who forced the keeper into a save, and then it was cleared. And Detroit was out there and looking to really burn a hole in the side netting with the amount of power he put on that shot. As in comes the cross, it's punched away by Axford, and then eventually hoofed out of the box. But it's yet again Apia who have all the possession as they make their way back towards the middle third. And Caligiero has his head up immediately. Again, it's just the case that because of their possession, Apia are able to really pin back St. George, stop them from getting forward, and even when they do get forward, because of how much they're being forced to defend, there's not much really for them up top. Stewart looking to take on Cito. It's a matchup he's had good success against, and that time Cito does extremely well and puts in a solid challenge on the goal scorer. Caspers. His touch was telegraphed by Souris. Lovely flick back to Casella. Had it taken away from him by Zone, and that Apia press keeps ticking over. Has put it through the legs of Jones there as Jones looked to the sky and just half frustration, half feeling a bit unlucky out there today. So ping it in towards Stewart. Lovely ball around the corner. We've seen him do a similar pass for a Zone earlier. To Godoy. Clears. Again, it's only as far as Stewart as Apia are piling on the pressure. Whenever St. George do clear it, it's only as far as an Apia player. As Josh Simmons goes on a bit of a run himself, the central defender. He's still up there with the ball, Josh Simmons. Gets along the goal line, dances along it, cuts it back. Apia with a chance to make it forward. It's Rory Jordan who twists inside and out. And great save by Daniel Axford. That would have been a fantastic solo goal by Rory Jordan. Left a couple of defenders behind him and only had the keeper to beat from there. And that time Daniel Axford was equal to the task to tip it over the bar and keep this one at 3-0 for the time being. As it was Josh Simmons who held onto the ball for what felt like an eternity. And then he got to the byline. It was dropped short by Detroit, and Rory Jordan putting on a masterclass of dribbling as that one's headed in. It's headed wide. Apia want the corner, and they'll get it. And the corner count continuing to rise now. That's 5-1 in favour of Apia. Seems that service has resumed from their perspective in what they had in the first half. Just continued pressure on this St. George goal as they look to run up the score. It's low and driven to the near post. It was Sean Simmons. And that one might have been something from the training ground, which almost worked for Apia. And now Jane Talcheski goes to the bench for a double sub. So it'll be Evangelos Souris coming off for Thomas Brown, as well as Harry Jones making way for Yakov Malbasa. So a double sub in search of a bit of inspiration. It looks like Franco Parisi might be making a change of his own. So Rory Jordan won't get on the score sheet today, but he was awfully close to doing so. So Alex Denmaid replaces Rory Jordan, and looks like it is Adrian Uchino, the captain, getting an early break. And Dakota Askew joins the fray, so that'll prompt a bit of a reshuffle from an APIA perspective. A midfielder on for a defender. And with Dakota Askew going to right back, that means Nick Azone is now in midfield in place of Uchino. St. George looking to box in APIA here as they put in the throw. Detroit, good hold-up play as almost cannons off Stewart to the benefit of APIA. Pinballing around on the edge of the area for St. George, but they have it under their control. Chance for them to get forward and start eating into this lead. Just half an hour remaining, so time is really running out for them to make a big comeback that they need. It's kept in by APIA. Denmead, chance for him to get forward. He looks to switch it to Stewart, but he just undercooked the pass ever so slightly. As there is Nick Azone, who will try and race to get this one, and he slides, but despite his best attempts, couldn't keep the attack going for APIA. Handball against Dakota Askew. And the ball was still rolling, and it's been a frustrating second half for St. George. Cito will take this free kick. Looks for some options ahead of him. Doesn't really see all that much. And now the press is coming. Detroit on to Godoy. And here is Cito. Found Rodic, and this is good from St. George. Lovely one-touch football in midfield. I'll give them cause for optimism, as here is Josh Simmons, who chips that ball forward for one of Detroit or Stewart. There is Matamalo, free header for him. He's got the captain's armband now that Uchino's off the pitch. Simmons looks to take it around Grozos. Is challenged rather late, and Peter Grozos will be pinged for that foul. It does look like Franco Parisi is going to go to his bench again. Michael Kuda looks like the man that will be joining the fray. They work it along the back with Matamalo. And here comes that sub. It'll be a double sub again for APIA. Looks like Segredo will also be joining Kuda on the pitch. And so Luigi Detroit and Sean Simmons, I think, will be taking the early break. And Detroit, who leaves the game with the goal. Goal in back-to-back games for the striker. And repaying the faith that Franco Parisi has shown in him. So, more attacking changes coming. Segredo coming, Michael Kuda coming on as well. Segredo goes into midfield, which means that Jack Armstrong is now playing as the number 9. And Kuda, that's a like-for-like swap at left back between him and Sean Simmons. Josh Simmons. Here is Denmead. Matamalo is being pressed by Casella. Takes it himself. And still APIA, despite the pressure from St. George, have the ball at their feet. Segredo lets it run along for Stewart. And again, this is where he's dangerous. One-on-one on the wing. Jack Stewart goes along the byline this time and puts it too close to the keeper. As Eddie Caspers and Jordan Segredo were the interested parties. APIA continue to press. And not slipping away from their principles despite this lead. And offside. Is Yakov Malbasa. Dakota Askew. Segredo. Good pass forward to Stewart. And he wanted the throw, but it might have taken the slightest of touches on him on its way out. As Gordo sends that long and sends that forward. Guatemala sees it all the way, heads it forward, but only as far as Peter Grozos, who had his pocket pinched by the new man, Michael Kuda. Segredo looking to go one-on-one, and rushing out to deny him was Daniel Axford. Brave keeping by the St. George shot stopper as Segredo was looking to add to his tally for the season. He has 8 goals on the year. It's been some time since he's gotten on the score sheet, Jordan Segredo. He started the year with a bang with 6 goals in his first 8. And since then, he's only scored 2. It's Casella, chance to go one-on-one with Askew. And the fresh legs of Askew win out on that occasion. And he's won his side the free kick. Askew again. That's 4 subs on for APIA, so there's plenty of fresh legs out there. There's just the one outfield player on the bench, which is Nick Sullivan, as well as the backup goalkeeper Alex Parks. Azone. Lovely crossfield switch out to Michael Kuda. Has the fresh legs and can attack, as does Denmead. Segredo's free on the wing if they can find him, and that's where he goes. Segredo cutting it onto his left, looking for that shooting angle. And Jordan Segredo coming off the bench to make an impact. You could see he had one thing on his mind, which was to cut inside and shoot. He picked his spot, he beat his defender, and then he found the bottom corner. A well-taken goal by Jordan Segredo, who breaks his scoring drought. A couple games since he scored, Jordan Segredo. It's a drought if you can call it that, but he's back in the goals once more. And now that final sub comes, it's Eddie Caspers making way for Nick Sullivan, who was the equaliser hero back in round 7, but I don't need any kind of late heroics here this evening. APIA to secure the 3 points. Great crossfield switch, and Casella was looking for it. And APIA really having a good time on their home deck. They're playing with plenty of confidence up front, and that was a shot of a player of confidence there from Jordan Segredo. You could see once he had a bit of space, he looked to take on the defenders, open up a shooting angle for himself, and then picked his spot, found the back of the net, and extended APIA's lead out to 4 on the afternoon. Segredo now up to 9 goals on the season. He might have a chance to bring up double digits, just like his teammate Jack Stewart did with his first goal. Still plenty of time there. When you look at the way APIA are attacking, as Askew has made that underlapping run and is rewarded for it by Stewart. Askew Goes back to Stewart. APIA not going to be hurried in the final third. They'll take their time as Azone looks to feed through Sullivan, who's made a lovely run forward and cuts it back. And cleared away on the line by St. George, and some fresh legs combining to great effect there. It was Nick Sullivan who got forward into a good area. It was a delightful pass to find him as well. It was Azone who spotted the run and timed it and weighted the pass to perfection. Armson, this time it goes towards the back post, and Guatemala was interested. This time it doesn't get to him. Askew lines up a strike from range, and it had the power and didn't quite have the height. Might have just overhit that one, but he made good connection with it, the APIA fullback. And just the 3 career goals for APIA in his 2 seasons here. Dakota Askew scored against his former club, Blacktown City, a couple of weeks back. Sullivan moving it wide for Denmead. APIA really looking to pile in the misery. And that means the bench is cleared in terms of outfield players. Franco Parisi has used his 3 substitution windows and 5 substitutes as well, so that's all the action from the bench for the hosts. With 20 minutes to play, you think that the scoreline the way it is, that might have been a bit of rotation and early rest for some of the starters. With a couple of games in hand on teams above them, they'll have a couple of midweek fixtures as well. As mentioned, they have a trip up to Brisbane for the Australia Cup. It's always exciting getting an interstate trip. APIA had one last season as well against the Goulburn Valley Suns down in regional Victoria. And then they were knocked out in the round of 16 by Sydney FC at Leichhardt Oval. And Guatemala takes his time, happy to assess the options. Only found Kaio Jagodoy. Azone has played quite well since coming into midfield. Stewart. And Armson. Taken away from him, it's Pat O'Shea, and now here is Mark Rodic. St. George haven't had really all that too many chances in the final third. The only one that comes to mind is that shot that was saved off the line by Sean Simmons. And how vital that might have been in terms of keeping momentum in APIA's favour. Had that went in, the game would have been 3-1, and St. George would have had more than half an hour to try and find another 2 goals. And since then, APIA have gone on to add a 4th and look to really make their mark on this game and send a statement perhaps back to the rest of the competition that performance against Marconi that saw them lose 4-1 right here a couple of weeks ago was rather the exception instead of the rule. Brown had his shirt pulled. Tolchevsky looks to be going to his bench again. Another substitution coming for St. George. The 2 men still left on the bench. There's a couple of men still left on the bench. You got Jesse Spang, Anthony Morabito, as well as Aidan O'Shea in terms of the 3 outfield players. Minded that Malbassa and Brown are out there already. Stewart has to go back, and that's pass that's taken away by Casella, and the flag is up, and a pass just got away from St. George up top. It was Malbassa looking to make an imprint on the side. There's Jack Stewart with a rare, cheap turnover. I won't see too many of those from him. See if that substitution is coming from APIA. Oh, sorry, St. George rather. Instead it's not. Here is Muatamalo. Flicks it around the corner. So calm and tidy at the back is Temba Muatamalo. Stewart. Touch got away and sent flying towards the sideline by Axford. And Askew has the awareness to let it fly over his head, and he'll take the throw. Stewart giving it back to Askew, and they can switch out here through Josh Simmons. Segredo. And Kuda gets his foot on the ball and uses Denmead. Denmead and Kuda, the two with the fresh legs for APIA. As the shot comes in and it skims the crossbar. Wasn't all that far away from Alex Denmead. Now a substitution comes for St. George FC. It'll be Peter Grozos making way with Anthony Morabito replacing him. De Godoy. It's found Cito. Muatamalo stepping out of the defensive line. Mabasa was able to turn him though and gets away from a couple of APIA defenders. The advantage stays with St. George. Ball is put in and Dakota Askew takes no chances with it. Clears it over the sideline, and as Jaden Casella was lurking at the back post hoping that he'd get a chance on the ball to make an impact in his debut game for St. George. Casella, who joins St. George, as mentioned, from Sydney Olympic, previously at Rockdale Illendon. It's on the corner now for St. George. It's a good delivery towards the back post, seen away by Kuda. Calageru floats it to the right wing with Kaio De Godoy. Brown towards the penalty spot. Azone got enough of the ball. St. George wanted the penalty, but it was a pretty sturdy clearance by Azone. Now comes Bazanis, who's been relatively quiet in this second half. Had a hairy moment where Sean Simmons saved him as he was given a bit of a cheap back pass. And Axford goes for distance on the clearance. Up goes Azone. Continues his fine spell in midfield in this second half. Denmead lost control of it. Cito. There is Muatamalo. Couldn't cushion his header towards one of Sullivan or Segredo. Instead it's Rodic who can use De Godoy. So move wide with Calageru. Pat O'Shea looking for Malbassa, who's been lively since coming on. Had a half chance taken away from him for offside a moment ago. Askew. Josh Simmons, and immediately called for Jack Stewart. And Stewart didn't get back from an offside position. And protests and pleads his innocence with the assistant. And it was coming back from an offside position, I think. Segredo. It's a new look midfield for APIA compared to the one they started with. Sullivan, Segredo and Azone. Started with Caspers, Uchino and Armson. Former two are now off the pitch. Armson's now playing as the 9. Franco Parisi maybe just trying different options with a busy fixture schedule ahead. And APIA are a deep squad. They've got good depth on the bench, as you can see in this game. A reminder that No Ben Gibson, no Saya Kambiyashi today. And even without those two, who have been important players this season, Kambiyashi, who can put just about anywhere on the pitch and expect a good performance from him. And Ben Gibson, who's their leading scorer. They haven't been goal shy this evening. As they look to add a fifth, there is Armson. It's fallen here for Denmead. And APIA continue to do the damage. Alex Denmead comes off the bench to add the fifth and to complete what has been a 5-star performance from APIA. A tidy finish from Alex Denmead, a good cross on the right. It found his way to him. He was patient with his touch. Jack Stewart whipped it in. He's got a couple of assists now. A good touchdown by Denmead, and he beat Axford at the near post. And APIA can add this to their list of high-scoring games. They had 6 goals against Western Sydney, 7 against Sydney FC, and now 5 against St. George. Had 4 a couple of weeks ago against St. George City. And it's been 5 different scorers from APIA. Everyone pitching in, and each of their goals have been fantastic ones, all for different reasons. As Sullivan looking to make his mark on the game. Goes back out to Denmead in search of his brace. Takes his time and uses Segredo. Azone keeps it going with Stewart. First time shot, and look to try and catch the keeper out early. And we've seen him on a number of occasions in the game instead look to take his defender one-on-one. This time he tried to catch Axford and the St. George defence by surprise and go for the early shot. He wasn't too far away. And St. George, despite trying to chase this game in the second half, have been shut out completely by APIA. Oh, a danger here as Malbassa can try and get around Buzanis. Takes his touch wide. It's still here with Malbassa, cutting it back and sent far and away from goal by Josh Simmons, and maybe a bit of a wake-up call at the back for APIA, just as they're looking to hold on to this clean sheet. St. George will still test them. Under 10 minutes remaining of regulation time. Might have a couple stoppages as well for the substitutions and APIA's 2 goals. St. George looking to use Malbassa again. He's had a couple of good touches since coming on, which will fill Jane Telcheski with some optimism after this game that new inclusion can make a difference. As for Jaden Casella, it's been a hard game out there. He's found it tough. He's had some good touches as well getting forward. But even between him and Malbassa, whilst they've got in good areas, it's really summed up St. George's attack that whenever they've gotten forward, APIA have done a good job of denying them any golden opportunities. Denmead picks it up and looks to go centrally. Had it pinched from him by Morabito. Askew screaming for the ball on this swing. They go through Sullivan, who looks to chip it over the top for Armson. Still with APIA and eventually hooked away by Casella. Stewart using Askew. Stewart again looking for that pass, and Segredo is offside. And despite that one going in the back of the net, a little flick from Jordan Segredo. Maybe didn't expect it to come his way, but still did well. APIA played with plenty of intensity really since the start of the game, as Sullivan getting forward himself. Now here is Kuda. Driven cross in, dealt with by St. George and seen over by Morabito. Segredo, Apia, not content with 5. Here is Sullivan. Flashes wide of the goal. Got good connection on the shot. Was looking to swerve its way into the side netting. As Apia really enjoying their football here at home. This would extend their record in home games. Had 5 wins out of 5 at Leichhardt Oval. Segredo, lovely fake shot, just lost his balance momentarily, and that allowed it to be seen away by St. George. But just on Apia's home record, they were 5 wins from 5 at Leichhardt Oval, and since coming back here to Lambert Park in all competitions, including the Australia Cup, and 2 wins and 1 loss, and tallied all that up, it's including this game now, it'd be 8 wins and 1 loss at home, which makes a very difficult reading if you're a visiting side. Knowing that Apia are so good here, they've built Lambert certainly into a fortress, and with this brand new synthetic pitch, there's plenty of reason why they can play with confidence here. Back training here as well. Askew goes back to Stewart. This time he cuts inside, lines up the shot, and just over again as Apia continue to pepper the St. George goal. Under 4 minutes remaining now of regulation time. It's a thoroughly professional performance from Apia. 5 goals, 5 different goal scorers, a clean sheet. They've controlled the ball in midfield. Well, St. George have had a couple of chances. It's not been all that many. Stewart looking to sweep that ball towards Armson. Denmeter was looking for the scraps. One back by Sullivan. Lovely touches, and Apia really enjoying their football. Kuda. And Caligiero is in the way. There's Malbassa trying to beat Simmons to it, and he couldn't. Guatemala. Between the lines is Armson. Now Askew. Couldn't get the vital touch onto it. And now Casella can go the other way, looking over the top for Malbassa. He's found his chest. And Guatemala has to be careful here. He's on a yellow. And there is the fresh legs. Well, not fresh legs, rather it's Nick Azone, who's been on since the start of the game. Started at right back, now in midfield. Game has slowed down a bit really since Apia scored that 5th goal. Seemingly content with the 5, not all that long remaining. And St. George is still in the hunt for something to potentially take away from this game, and it's been a hard game for them. They had a tough loss as well a couple of weeks ago to Rockdale, and now here's a foul on the edge of the area by Josh Simmons. This will have plenty of players interested. For St. George, it's maybe 19, 20 yards out from goal, directly in line with the post. This is the type of range that you practice them from. Quilligan and Casella, the 2 interested parties over this free kick. Be Quilligan, the long-standing St. George player, or Casella, the man who's playing his first game. And Bazanis is taking no chances with his wall here. So now in the 90th minute of time here. This will be 2 minutes of additional time, so might be the last chance that St. George getting on the score sheet. It's Casella on the right side of the ball, Quilligan on the left. 5 in the wall for Bizanis. Will it be Quilligan or Casella? To peg one back for St. George. It'll be Connor Quilligan. And he struck it high and wide. It was always going to be difficult to get it up and over the wall from such short range. Josh Simmons plays that long field ball to Denmead. He's had some good touches, including that goal since coming on. Segredo looks to get the other side of Brown, but can't. As Brown, his pass was intercepted, and that pressure by Segredo means that APIA will get possession once more in the final third. And a chance at number 6. Segredo tried to keep it in the corner, but his pass goes over the sideline. Here is a zone A. Armson tried to get the toe onto it, but it just evaded Jordan Segredo. A couple of goals from substitutes, Segredo and Denmead. And those changes from Franco Parisi have put this game out of reach for St. George. Now into the final minute of stoppage time here at Lambert Park. Here's Armson. And Stewart. APIA. Another chance for them coming. Here is Dakota Askew, who's bombed forward. Holds up play momentarily and strikes as Armson was sliding through. And with the goal at his mercy, just needed to get a meaningful touch on it. And that would have found the back of the net, but was mere inches away from getting his second of the evening. That's full time here at Lambert Park. APIA take the win in a convincing performance at home to get back in the winner's circle after a loss a couple weeks back ago to Marconi. It was 5 goals to 5 different goal scorers. Jack Stewart, Luigi De Troia, Jack Armson, Alex Denmead and Jordan Segredo all pick up a goal this evening, and it was a dominant display by the reigning premiers as they look to keep touch with Rockdale at the top. It's been a fantastic game to call for you. I've been Will Constantinides on commentary for you. And you can stick around tonight with Rockdale and Blacktown City starting up as well. And so we'll see you again soon on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. Goodbye for now.